Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. It is Sunday, May 21st, and I've got the debt ceiling on my mind. Janet Yellen has reiterated that the debt ceiling needs to be addressed and raised by June 1st, or else the U.S. will default on its debt. And likely that's going to lead to a lot of turmoil in the financial markets, both in the U.S. and worldwide. Currently, Kevin McCarthy is wanting to tie raising the debt ceiling with the budget, which hasn't been done in this country before, but the Republican messaging is that this is what needs to happen. That's what happens again when you get some extremists in the Republican Party and they're trying to put their will on the American people, the minority party. It's what apartheid was in South Africa. Same deal. The minority is trying to tell the majority what to do. Okay. So Biden's just trying to get them, hey, we want a debt ceiling decoupled from the budget. Mitch McConnell had signaled that we've never done it that way before, and we should continue doing things the way we've been doing it, where the debt ceiling is not coupled with the budget. And the Democrats are urging Joe Biden to consider the 14th Amendment, which the way it was phrased is that basically we can pay our debts. We don't need Congress to approve our ability to pay the debts for expenses already incurred. Sorry, I had to pause the video quickly here. One of my candles was burning out. Replace it with a new one. Pumpkin spice, for those who want to know. That's the sixth Spice Girl. She didn't quite make the cut. So, Spirit, what's the current situation with the debt ceiling? What can you tell us about the debt ceiling? For entertainment purposes only. Well, things are moving forward. People have asked, beginning requests to show the spread. Now, the thing is, I tend to show the cards one at a time. And if I'm doing it this way, I kind of have to show the cards all at once. So we'll go ahead and throw the spread. Here's the past, current situation, less overarching energy, lesson to be learned, thing going forward, and the underlying energy underneath. Okay, so what do we have regarding the debt ceiling? The process is moving forward. So we got the Chariot. It's not out of control, but you have to harness both the Republicans and Democrats and get them on board with this. This is crossed by the Hermit card. So things being illuminated, clarified. On the low energy, it's about retreating and bringing things into the darkness. So I think there's a push-pull where, like, the Biden administration is trying to move forward with this and trying to find, unity, a bipartisan approval for this. There's a counterforce that's trying to drag this back into the darkness, and which could take the U.S. back to Dark Ages type times. But again, the Hermit could also be illumination, and the Democrats really need to work on their messaging about what's happening. The Republicans are so much better at it. They're taking something which is a new concept, that you're tying the debt, raising the debt ceiling with budget negotiations, and their base is just lapping it up and treating it like this has been historical fact that was set forth in the Constitution 200 and something years ago. And the Democrats have to keep saying, we've never done it this way before. We're not doing it this way going forward. Democrats are not good at messaging. The past, we've got the Four of Pentacles holding tightly onto the money. And this could be the debt ceiling. It's like, we don't want to spend all the money all at once here. We have to control ourselves. That's the budget process. The budget process is when you go to a hardware store or a furniture store and you decide that, okay, we're only going to spend $5,000 on outdoor patio furniture and indoor living room furniture. And you limit yourself. That's the budget. Now, if you spend $6,000 on that and you went over the budget, well, you're going to have to pull money from somewhere else. The debt ceiling is just, okay, you put it on your charge card and the charge came through and here's your $6,000. You don't get to say, well, I only budgeted $5,000 for it. I'm not going to pay the $6,000. That's not how it works. And you can't return the furniture. Let's say there's no return policy. You have to pay it. You ran up the budget. You ran up the debt. You pay your debt. Simple. It's not... This is not rocket science. People can... You explain it to people in a way that they understand. They get it. Come on, Democrats, do better. But anyway, so this is... back originally, the debt ceiling was put in there so that we wouldn't spend too much money. I'm not sure on it, on the history for that. But right now, the Republicans their messaging is we're running out of money and we need to hold on to our money tightly. And that's just not the case. Then you should have considered the middle class tax break that you gave to the really wealthy people. Remember the messaging on that? For the middle class people, they were going to say on average, $60 a year, which would pay your Costco membership fee. And, they didn't mention the extremely wealthy that were getting millions back because of this. You don't want people to know that message. Current situation is the star. There's a lot of grandstanding and negotiations going on with this. Maybe there's somebody who's going to come through, break through to help the U.S. or help break these. But I think what I'm getting from this is that the Biden administration and the establishment Republicans have not lost faith in this process, and they just consider it a typical political process. McCarthy and the extremists, they'll burn this country down if they can make Biden look terrible, make him not the star that he is, and make him a falling star. But that's that current situation. Again, I think the MAGA Republicans are trying to take away Biden's star. As a matter of fact, Biden just put a speech out regarding that basically, if we default on the debt ceiling, it's going to crash the economy, and then Biden will be blamed for it because the president's responsible for everything. That's where the MAGA Republicans are going with this. They're counting on that because that supports their messaging, and it's their way to undercut Biden and get back into power. And mind you, if they get back into power, they will set up an authoritarian government. We got a practice run of that on January 6th. That was the practice run for what a coup and an authoritarian government would look like. They just didn't get the military on board, and they didn't have the right people in place to make this thing go through. I'm sure they'll learn their lesson for the next time. And there will be a next time until you hold people accountable for that. Jack Smith, please work faster. Okay, overarching situation is the hanged man looking at things in a different light. Again, there's negotiations going on. I think the GOP is trying to force some type of deal with the Biden administration that they normally wouldn't get as part of the debt ceiling. But it's also a willing sacrifice. So this is also telling me that, again, the MAGA Republicans have zero issue with burning the whole freaking country down. Burning the country down, that's just the willing sacrifice that they will make in order to get the victory that they want. This is what they want. They want to win. Look at me, look at me. And again, the overarching issue is who's going to be victorious, who's going to get the credit for this issue. The outcome is the Sun card. What a fantastic outcome. Sun is about truth and honesty. And right now, truth and honesty are not friends of the Republicans. That's friends of the Democrats. So in the end of the day, the Democrats will prevail on this one. Will they have to make a deal? I don't know. Possibly, because underneath it is the magician. Something might happen. A deal might have to be cut in order for this to go through. I don't know what that deal would be. We may not hear about it. But it's also an illusion. This whole drama is just an illusion. There's nothing here. There's no reason not to do this. I'm going to throw now to find out if Biden is going to utilize the 14th Amendment. Go forward with that. That whole reading could have been about the 14th Amendment too. For entertainment purposes only. I'm really agitated by this because this really is, it's like riding in a car with a friend who's showing off, and showing like on a for folks who grew up in California, they know about Highway 1, the Pacific Coast Highway. If you're in the Bay Area, you know about double slide. This is like, driving really fast on a curvy 2-lane coastal road where, if it weren't for the guardrails on the west side of Highway 1, that's the only thing separating you from a 200 to 300 foot fall onto the rocks and water below. And your friend is trying to show off how fast they can drive, trying to scare you. It's like that creepy guy that says, if you go on a date with me, you're not going to go on a date with me? Well, I'm just going to drive faster until you say yes. It's that kind of hostage taking that's going on here. And all that girl really that's in the car with this creepy dude that's doing that, all she has to do is when she gets home is tell her dad. Matter of fact, don't even let the guy leave. Tell her dad. Let her dad solve the problem. Because I guarantee you, her dad will speak the language that young punk would understand. And sometimes you just gotta talk to people in languages that they understand. For entertainment purposes only, of course. And that's the problem with the Republicans. The Democrats try and treat them intelligently and with empathy, and they don't care. They don't listen to that. That's why you got to punch them hard in the nose sometimes, because they do understand that, and then they can claim how much of a victim they were. Fucking babies, man. Okay. I'm putting all this negative energy in the cards. Let's try again. 14th Amendment. Spirit. Will Biden invoke the 14th Amendment or use the threat of the 14th Amendment to get this budget deal passed? Maybe that's the agreement. I won't do the 14th Amendment and then get it codified if you agree to pass the budget. That be done like that. Well, he's working. He's working hard. He's got plans, and he's putting those plans into motion. We've got the 9 of Cups underneath it, Ace of Swords, and the 9 of Wands. And underneath it is the King of Swords. Okay, then bring the laptop down real quick so you can see what the spread looks like. Here's your signifier card and the underlying cards. Okay, so Biden and the Democrats are working. They're working hard. They've come up with a new idea. They've come up with a new truth. And again, I think this is the 14th Amendment. They're trying to work with the Republicans under the normal way of doing things, but they've put forward this strong new idea. We will bust out the 14th Amendment, and we will give you a choice. We can just agree to raise the debt ceiling like we've always done, and everybody wins because the country doesn't lose. Or we can take this to the 11th hour and keep fighting about this one. And people are not going to be happy if that's what happens. But what I really like underneath the bottom of this is the King of Swords. This is what's going to happen card. Let me tell you, it's not asking permission. This is, let me tell you what's going to happen. And when you couple it with this card as the center clarifier, the Democrats, Joe Biden, he's a very accommodating person, shall we say. He's friendly, he's kind, he wants everybody to do well, but he can be a son of a bitch if he needs to be. And I think he's like, it's like he's like really nice grandpa until he gets you in the back room and it's just the two of you. And then you get to find out that Joe Biden actually has an edge. Do you remember when Trump was bad-mouthing him and Biden said, if we were in high school, I'd take you behind the gymnasium and beat the crap out of you? That's Joe Biden. He has got an edge. He's got a nasty streak in his personality. Don't mess with him. He doesn't want to show that. He likes to be the nice guy. He likes to be the unifier, bring people together and stuff. But do not think for a second that man doesn't have a mean streak in him and knows how to tap into it. He's got anger issues. He just has them under control. For entertainment purposes only. Do you ever think it was, instead of Smoking Joe Frazier, it's Mean Joe Biden? The football player, Smoking Joe Biden? I like Mean Joe Biden better. Give him a 1970 number 75 Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. Okay. What's McCarthy thinking right now of this whole situation? How's McCarthy thinking about this? Okay, McCarthy. He's working hard too. Dang, it's the same card that came up. Working. But unfortunately, it's his undoing. Things aren't working out for him because the truth is being exposed out there. And there's that weariness card again. People are getting tired of this. Wow. And there's the hangman card again. He's looking at that sacrifice. So again, here's the spread. What do we got? McCarthy's working hard, but it's at undermining the U.S. He has no problem basically throwing the U.S. economy under the bus. If given the chance, if Biden backs down, he'll do it. It might only be for a day or two, but he'll do it just to show he's serious. And all the turmoil it'll cause, and then they'll blame Joe Biden for it. But here's the problem. The information is out there. People are understanding what's happening, and it's going to really undermine everything McCarthy is doing. It's the end. This is the end of McCarthy. I threw on McCarthy several weeks ago, and I was saying he's going to lose the House speakership sometime between the debt ceiling getting raised and the budget getting passed. Certainly by the end of the year, McCarthy is out. And this is telling me this is the start of the end of McCarthy because people are tired of his games. I'm glad that these cards came up. And, that sun card is also, I think, for the Republicans. That, the establishment Republicans, the traditional conservatives, the ones that don't want this country to become a dictatorship. Remember those guys? There's a couple of them lying around. They just don't have a collective spine between the lot of them. But they don't want to do this. And I'm curious how many might cross party lines to vote for raising the debt ceiling. Because it only takes about 5 or 6 of them to say, I don't want my country to go down in turmoil. Where country is put ahead of party. I really think that McCarthy, if he doesn't get something back to throw to the MAGA Republicans, they're going to put a vote of no confidence, or they're going to put the thumb screws to that guy. He's basically going to be ineffective and powerless after this. And if he defaults the country, the normal Republicans will put a vote of no confidence in him. They will be livid. And if one of them actually grows a spine, or a few of them grow a spine, McCarthy's out. Okay. So. On June 2nd, what's the energy looking like for the U.S.? The day after June 1st, how's the energy looking in the U.S.? Well, it's at the end. Oh, I don't like this card. Who's at the end for? Let's find out. The World, the High Priestess, and the Chariot. Man... And the fool. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so on a really negative reading, if Biden and the Democrats aren't strong and push back, it's going to be the end of the U.S. It's going to be the end of the U.S. economy. Absolute betrayal underneath it because it was a foolish thing to do. And then you'd have the secrets that were withheld, so on and so forth, impacts the world. And the world's going to go out of control. Again, that's if McCarthy gets his way. Now, if the Democrats stand up for themselves, really, I think what I'm getting there, and this is why I said thank you. This is the end, but it's the end for the fool. It's the end for the person who tried doing this. So this is McCarthy. There's going to be the end of McCarthy because in the end of the day, the collective wisdom of Congress came together and said, we don't want to do this because it impacts the world and our standing in the world. And we've got so much more to do that we can't just tank the economy and take the United States. As much as the MAGA Republicans want to burn it all down, it doesn't serve them in the end. And it doesn't serve the Republicans. It doesn't serve the Democrats. It doesn't serve anybody. Okay, so there is a real possibility that this thing could go sideways on June 2nd. Like, the Republicans let us default for a day or something along those lines. But again, if the Democrats stay strong and they really get their message out and play hardball, they'll get it. I mean, you can play hardball and compromise. Don't get me wrong. The compromise is all part of politics. But the Democrats need to show that they are not to be trifled with. Because McCarthy's being a bully. And the whole thing with the bully is that they want their opponent to roll over and go in the fetal position and cry. Because it empowers the bully. The minute you stand up for yourself and look him in the eye, yeah, that bully might take a couple swipes at you just to see if it's real. But they're not really in there for the fight. And don't think of this as the bully like in Back to the Future, where it's Biff and he's 6'5" and 300 pounds compared to Michael J. Fox's character. It's two people of the same size. And what the bully doesn't realize is that the person he's trying to bully around has a mean streak in him. And the minute he shows that mean streak, the bully backs down because it's like, that's too much risk. I wasn't expecting that. And I have to rethink and recalculate and recalibrate my actions on things. So, keep the faith. Send light to Joe Biden. Send light to Kevin McCarthy if you would like, just to help him raise his vibration so he doesn't sink down to the bottom of the cesspool and figure, well, I'm going to do this anyways because screw this country. You can raise him up so he has some doubt. And the more doubt McCarthy has, the less likely he is to go through it. So I realized why would I want to send light to that horrible person? Because you raise him up enough to pull him out of the mud enough that he doesn't feel the need to pull you down into it because it causes doubt. All right? So there's hopefully some words of inspiration for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care all. Bye-bye.